Hey everyone, MC Geek. I'm just coming with a HTC One hardware review. It's been a while since I've done a review of a phone, but since it is a HTC phone and they have always been one of my favorite phones. I've had the HTC, the G1, which is the first Android phone. I've had the first Nexus, the Nexus 1. I believe it was the G2 with the keyboard. I also had the MyTouch 4G, which was made by HTC, and HTC Sensation, which I absolutely loved, and I always have loved all of my HTC phones. So if you look back at my channel at some of my older videos from years ago, you will see that I really do embrace HTC and I love what they do with their phones. But this one in particular is very special because it's completely different than what they've ever done, even with their latest past models, which was the HTC One S, I believe, and One X that was on AT&T and T-Mobile. But let's get into some of the specs. Here we go. I want to start with the display of the HTC One, and in the display you can see the ceiling of my house, which is the patterns, but just kind of ignore that if you can. I know it's kind of hard to, especially with me recording, it's kind of annoying, but the display is a 4.7-inch Full HD 1080p screen, which it has 468 ppi, which is much better than the Retina display on Apple products. The iPhone 5 ppi is only 362 or 68 ppi, I believe. The phone is 143 grams. The CPU speed is 1.7 gigahertz. It is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 quad-core processor. And of course, it is Android with HTC Sense 5, which has HTC Blink Feed, which is a home screen application for news and such. You have your micro SIM card slot, which is on the left side of the device at the very top. And inside, as far as memory, you do not have a memory card slot, but you have built-in memory, which mine is a 32 gigabyte, but it also comes in 64 gigabyte. I believe that is the model that is sold by HTC, which is the developer's model. The networks that this run on, it can run GSM 2G, which is like the edge, and then you have 3G, 4G, and LTE in Europe, Asia, United States, of course, with T-Mobile, Sprint, and AT&T. Hopefully soon it will be available for Verizon. I believe they have a date set for August the 1st. I'm not sure if that's an announcement date or the date that they'll actually be releasing the HTC One for those waiting for the phone on Verizon. And it definitely is worth the wait. I wouldn't go with the HTC DNA, even though I know some people still like the DNA. You can switch the ROM on it if your phone is rooted, and it probably can run HTC Sense 5 right about now. But as far as the GPS, it has a ton of GPS antennas, which are these nice little bands that they have on the back. The white part, the body of the phone is aluminum, so signal cannot go through the body of the phone, but the bands on the back they've made perfectly. It gives good signal on the phones and around the phone. They've done a really good job at designing the phone with that, specifically for that. And if you know HTC, you know that they do a very good job when it comes to the build quality and the signal quality of their phones. On the front of the device, you have your gyro sensor, accelerometer, of course, proximity sensors, and your ambient light sensor, which are all, like I said, on the front of the device. And at the very top, I know you can't see because I don't have a notification flashing right now, but in the speaker grill you have your notification light up at the top. One of the most talked about features on this phone is the boom sound, which is the Beats Audio dual speakers that are on the bottom and at the top. It has an amplifier, which you can really tell the difference between when the Beats Audio is off and from when Beats Audio is on. Look at the back, at the camera. The camera has a 4 ultra pixel, which is actually 4 megapixels, and a lot of people are like, okay, 4 megapixels on a smartphone in today, 2013. Yes, but they really did an amazing job with recreating this, especially how they've done it. You have the BSI sensor, pixel size 2.0 They have the wide angle lens, which is pretty neat. I believe it's 28mm lens, optical image stabilizer, smart flash, which is 5 levels of flash automatically set by distance to subject. You have the front facing camera, which is 2.1 megapixel camera with I believe it's 88-degree wide angle lens with HDR capability. You have your 1080p full HD video recording with HDR video. And on this phone they have added a new feature which is called HTC Zoe with frequent shot, also smiling object removal. There also are a few more things that I really do like about the features on the camera. They have continuous shooting and video pick, and the slow motion video recording with variable speed playback. Slow motion, you can speed up the video. All of it is very cool. Hopefully I'll have a video of some action soon so you all can really see the slow motion and the fast motion on this camera. Since I have mentioned Beats Audio, you probably are wondering about the multimedia support on this phone. You have the audio supported formats, which is playback in AAC, AMR, OGG, M4A, MID, MP3, WAV, which is WAV, and also Windows Media Audio 9, and recording in AMR. And as far as video supported formats, you have 3GP, 3G2, MP4, Windows Media Video 9, AVI, which is MP4, ASP, and MP3, and recording in MP4. Now, with the battery, it is a built-in battery. If you don't know by now, there's no way that you can open up the back, which is why you have the built-in memory. The battery capacity is 2300 milliamps in the United States. I believe overseas it is different. I think it's higher, but it is a you get up to 18 hours with WCDMA, which is LTE, 19 hours CDMA, which I believe is 4G, and up to 27 hours for GSM, which is you're looking at 3G. And the standby times up to 500 hours with LTE, 496 hours with 4G, and 479 hours with 3G. And I'll also have that information tucked into the video as well. Now that I've given you all those specifics, you have a back button and a home button. No menu button on the HTC One, but the HTC logo is actually a button, but everything inside when it comes in the US, I believe actually, and on all variants, it isn't activated. But there are, if you root the phone, there is some application that will allow you to turn that HTC button into a actual menu button, home button. You could set it to whichever way you want it. I have used it myself, so I do know that it does work, and it works properly. It works just like the back button and the home button does, which is really cool. At the bottom of the device, you have the USB port, which is also an HDMI port with MHL 2.0, and I believe the USB on the go is 1.3, but USB 2.0. If you don't know what that means, I'll have a link in the description explaining that. At the very top of the device, you have the power button, which is also the IR blaster for the TV. And you have 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. On the side, you have the micro SIM card slot. And on the back, you have a noise canceling microphone, which is right there. It does play a huge part because the people that you're on the phone with, they can hear you clearly and you can hear them very clearly, even when it's a lot of noise around. Then on the right hand side, we have the volume rockers, which we cannot forget. It does not stick out, which can cause a problem if you have the phone on without a case on it. But if you play with the phone, you do get used to the volume rockers being where they are, and they work just fine. I have mine set right now so that it cuts on my screen because I am rooted, but otherwise they just work as a volume rocker if you're not rooted and you're running the stock sense that comes on the phone. Okay guys, that is the hardware review of the HTC One. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Peace.